And hello, movie lovers. So today I have a very special guest with me. I have the very funny, the very talented. This man is a legend in the comedy circuit, stand-up
Legend.
comedian. I have none other than my good friend Josh Prey with me. So everyone, let's welcome back Josh to the show. And hey, Josh, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me back. It's always a pleasure. I'm always happy to be here. I'm always happy to be invited. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get popular. I'm trying to do it better so my name could be on the show and I can have like a podcast to call home.
You know what? You actually do have a podcast that's called Home. It's this one right
Hey,
here. You guys.
hey, I love it.
So let's see. We're gonna open up with this, okay? So what happens when you take a bunch of criminals, give everybody a color instead of a real name, throw them into a warehouse, and tell them, "Hey, one of you is a rat"? You get Reservoir Dogs, a movie that taught us three very important things: never trust anybody named after a color. Apparently, tipping can turn into a full-blown uh, political debate, and
Hmm.
if stuck in the middle with you starts playing while you're tied to a chair, you better start praying because today we're breaking down 1992's Quentin Tarantino's Reservoir Dogs. The dialogue, the characters, our favorite scenes, a surprising connection to true romance, and of course, that scene, you know the one, the scene that made an entire generation look at an air in a Steelers Wheel song completely different. And helping me figure out whether this Tarantino's classic still holds up and whether its most controversial scene is actually still shocking more than 30 years later, I've got my man, Josh Prey, joining me. Are you ready to get stuck in the middle with me? So, let's talk about this, man. Like, I wanted to know where were you when you first heard about this movie, and give me your nostalgia score best out of 10.
Okay, so when it came out, I was 8 years old. I was still stuck on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Secret of the Use. I was definitely not allowed to watch the Reservoir Dogs, like 1,000%. And where I'm from, at 8 years old, sadly, the movies I would watch was Menace to Society, Boys in the Hood, Penitentiary. It just wasn't Reservoir Dogs. So I was an adult, and I had a good friend of mine named Tyrone, call him Ty, and he told me about. He's like, "Yeah, man, you should check this movie out." So as a young adult, I watched the movie Reservoir Dogs. Didn't understand the dynamics and the importance of the movie and the filming of it. Um, a bunch of years later, 15, 20 years later, I just rewatched it and the movie is phenomenal. It's nostalgia score definitely got to be a 10 out of 10, 5 stars. It's unbeatable when you really think about Reservoir Dogs and break it down. You start to look at movies that take place in one scene, like Saw, for example, that took place in one building.
Mm-hmm.
Those writers, directors, they had to look at that film and take some type of inspiration from it. I also think Quentin in the movie was a phenomenal writer, and maybe we can get into it a little bit later with
Mm-hmm.
some nuances inside the movie. Um, it's just the perfect blend of action, suspense, slight comedy. If you're into great acting and great dialogue, you're gonna giggle a few times because you're like, oh my gosh, how did you see that coming? But I don't know. It's just a movie that holds up. And if I was into filmmaking, it's definitely one of the films that would be in my Rolodex of inspiration.
See, same here as well. Like, I was into other things in 1992. You and I are close to the same age, so I
Yeah.
was like into like Looney Tunes, Tiny Toons, Nickelodeon. Tarantino was not on my radar. Even
No.
I said this in my Pulp Fiction review. I remember as a kid, I came in like in the middle of it, and then you get lost because you're not sure where the scene is supposed to end up at or
Yes.
anything. So therefore, I felt like Tarantino had a little bit ADHD at that time because I only seen one certain part of the film. With this one, I walked into the same problem where I didn't understand what was happening in the film, and then fast forward to years later, I winded up watching this for the very first time. I want to say I seen this back when I was in college. And I just fell in love with it. I fell in love with the writing, the dark humor of it, the
Yep.
dialogue, and also too, this actually feels like normal everyday conversation that someone would have, like
Hmm.
when they're in. We'll get into like at the very beginning of it, when they're around the dinner table, around the cafe.
Yeah.
It's just like everyday conversation that people have
Yes.
that feels more relatable, and it gives them more growth for the characters for us to explore with the characters. So
Yes,
that's what I like about this film is it actually is, to me, is one of those films that can be relatable towards the characters and the way they're talking within the dialogue. But
I
then you
agree.
can get lost within the adventure that they're on because of the stuff that happens in this movie. And also too, like whenever you see someone inside the car just all of a sudden gets shot and you
Yes.
don't know why he got shot or anything, you're lost. But then you find out later on how they kept catch you up with it. I think
Mhm.
it's actually a good movie. I give it at least a 9.9 out of 10 for
What
this.
stops
And
you
so
from giving it a 10?
because at this time I was only in 1992. So that's why, as like a young me, I don't understand a single thing about this. I know someone died, is gonna die probably. I know he's bloodied up inside the back of a car.
Of
I
course.
know, I know that there's some strong dialogue, but I don't know what's going on. So in 1992, me, I don't understand this movie. But that's why I gave it like a 9.9 because of the fact that I also went and seen this in as a college, someone in college though too. So I
Hmm.
have like the balance between young John and then adult John. So that's that's how I ended up doing that.
Okay. I mean, it's a 10. Can't be a 9.9. It's definitely a 10, but I'm ready to get right into it.
Okay, so let's start off with this. So we start off with them inside the diner scene,
Yeah.
and they hit. Here's the Madonna conversation, right? Mr. Pink's tipping argument, and now Tarantino introduces the characters through the dialogue before the crime story actually begins.
Yes.
So that to me, I was laughing my ass off at this. Was like because it goes into days time where you have to tip your waitress before you actually get your food, and you don't know how that experience is going to be until after you eat your food.
Hmm.
So I like how Mr. Pink's logic is into why he doesn't tip at the very start of it because it actually does make sense. It's like, why am I going to tip someone that I don't know what kind of experience I'm going to be getting? I understand
Hmm.
that I'm going to be getting food from this place. I know that she's gonna be my waitress, but how is that server gonna be? And then everybody's also breaking his balls about that. And he's like, "Well, am I supposed to tip someone at McDonald's? Because I don't tip anyone at McDonald's, and this is all the government conspiracy." And da 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 da. I was having a blast with that, but
Because
it's
it's
yeah,
real dialogue.
right,
And it also lets you know the traits of the character, and it lets you know their background and their feeling towards things. Like if you scale back and you hear him talking about tipping, and it was like, I just don't believe in tipping. I just think I think your job is your job. That immediately gave away he might not be who he says he is because he's very, why am I gonna do, he was very black and white. Why am I gonna pay for something that's gonna be done regardless? Why am I gonna pay extra for something? If you
right.
go back and you really think about that conversation in that moment, he lets you know who I am. I'm very black and white. I'm not shady at all. And criminal, and what's the saying? How the saying goes? There's no honor amongst these. Like criminals are criminals. He was
Right.
telling you, I'm no criminal. I'm very much. This is who I am. This is how I am. This is how I'm gonna be. And nobody was attentive to it.
That's exactly how I feel though too. Is like we understand who he is. We know that he's not going to backstab anybody. This is our
Nobody.
first introduction into these 8 gangsters sitting at this table,
Mm-hmm.
and all we know them is like, okay, you have nice guy Eddie Cabot. You also have Mr. Brown, Mr. White, Mr. Blonde, Mr. Blue, Mr. Orange, and Mr. Pink. So all of them are having conversations within each other, and it's like they all know each other, all except this one outsider, Mr.
Literally.
Orange.
Yep.
So you can tell the chemistry between all them and the difference in dialogue when it comes down to Mr. Orange trying to figure out the way to actually chime in with his conversation of how he's going to pick this up.
Trying to be a part of the conversation.
Right. It's like all these popular kids at school are having their own conversation, and then you're trying to figure out how can I get in there too. So that's what I kind of think what Mr. Orange is trying to do. You know. But yeah, I just think that that dialogue itself just sets up so much stuff within this movie that I
Yes.
really, I it's just so good. You know,
It's tremendous writing. It's great writing. It wasn't rushed writing. Um, and when we have these conversations and do these reviews, I try to pick some apart. Like, that could have been done better with that. I think that may be the holy grail of dialogue when it comes to a it's top two because in Django, the scene with when they were arguing over the white hoods
right.
when they was on the horses, that might be the second best dialogue I've ever seen in a Quentin movie. But um, this might be the best dialogue he's ever written. Just that one scene itself, because it was the conversation was contained, the diner was contained, the selfishness was contained. It was just written so well.
I agree. The only problem I have with the dialogue is, and I know
Ooh.
that you and I talked about this before, was the use of the N word, and
Oh,
also,
so we're gonna jump right into it. Okay, let's do it.
yeah, because here's the thing, it flows right in this with this dialogue because there is the, even though you might not pay, we're paying so close attention to what Mr. Pink has to say, and we're still in that mindset of what he's saying, that
Yep.
you actually don't pay attention to what the other person is actually saying.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to rewind it, and there was actually a part where it was the N word was actually used in the table.
Yes.
So, so I didn't pick it up because you're so fascinated by the dialogue and how, you know, relatable it is, to the point where once somebody else starts talking, you're just fixated on Mr. Pink. But
Like,
once you get it, but here's the thing, with the N word being used in a 1992 film, I
yeah.
don't think Tarantino should use the N word at all, especially coming from a white director. That's just my personal opinion. But also, too, it goes with the time period, right? So I think with Django Unchained, it fits in with the narrative of that story because for that time period.
In Django, definitely that
Yeah,
the racial epithet had to be used in Django. As far as this movie, um, I'm with you. Unless there was a person of color in the writers' room saying, "Hey, this needs to be used." The only reason I'm going to disagree with you and say, so to be clear, I don't like the word being used. Right, I'm one of those people
me too.
like. I'm just not with it, and it's okay. That's a different conversation. But I don't like the word. I don't want to be called that. I don't think it's just a word. Whatever. But Quentin is allowing us into the conversations of certain Caucasian
Mm,
groups. So these are the things, and this is the verbiage used amongst certain groups at certain times. And I like that he doesn't shy away from it. Just like if Quentin or Spike Lee, let's use a black director, Spike Lee or whomever, and they wrote a film that was majority black American cast. It's and let's say that conversation was happening in Miami, Florida, or Tampa, Florida, or Jacksonville, Florida. That's where I'm from. I'm from Florida. A racial epithet to describe a Caucasian male may be used, and to write that out like black men from certain areas don't use a certain word. It's inaccurate. It's not true. It's not real. I think using that word added authenticity to the film. It definitely it definitely took me by surprise as an adult because I'm like, wait, it ain't even no Negro around. What are we doing?
right.
What did we do? But then as the film goes on, the most educated and insightful person and aware person in the film happens to be a black man, which is the cop, the boss.
Right.
Now I now I do think I noticed that, but I do think along with that scene, I do think Quentin, and I don't know if this was his idea. I do think the wardrobe for the black guy was definitely like um stereo stereotypically like stupid. Like black
Right.
men, even in the 90s, black men were not dressing like that. So
No,
so,
definitely
so
not.
yeah, so his attire was off. So everything Quentin did and achieved, to me, it got just washed away when he had the brother dressing like he fell down in a TJ Maxx and got up and just walked out with whatever landed on him.
You see, I actually understand that perspective now because if you're right though, it's the ignorance of some other person that's actually talking that actually thinks like this,
100%.
and so yeah, it makes it more relatable because we actually come across these people all the time in real life. So yeah, I
Yeah.
understand that part. So yeah, I get it. And then even when we're using the F word and stuff like that too to describe somebody else that's that's homosexual and everything too, that's also another thing where someone else would have ignorance would actually say as well. So I totally get it. It actually does resonate from someone that he might know, someone that he knew. So yeah, I can understand that perspective of what you just brought up. So I respect that. I think that's actually a pretty good analogy. You know. So now we're gonna get into the gangsters carry out a diamond heist. White flees with Orange, who was shot during the escape and is bleeding severely in the back of White's car. At one of Joe's warehouses, White and Orange rendezvous with Pink, who believes that the job was a setup and that the police was waiting for them. White informs him that Brown is dead, Blue and Blonde are missing, and Blonde murdered several civilians during the heist. So, what I want to get at is this. I like the fact that all of a sudden it goes from them at the dinner table
Mm-hmm.
in this cafe, having laughs, joking around, busting
Flash
each
to the
other's
car.
balls, right? And then all of a sudden, now we're in the car with these characters that we only established for 5 minutes, and something happened.
Yeah.
And it has that Pulp Fiction vibe that he was actually. You can definitely tell that this was actually the blueprint for Pulp Fiction because the way that the camera work actually is in this car, and we feel like that we're actually in this car with them
100%.
because and it's like, "Oh, you're not gonna die now, kid. You're not gonna die." He goes, "Yeah, I'm gonna die." He goes, "How do you know? Are you a doctor now? You got a degree?" So I love that too. Even during this time of uh, this emergency that's happening, where he's bleeding out on the seat, he's still finding ways to bust this kid's balls. This guy Orange, and also too, with Joe. Uh, I think that this chemistry really works between the two of them. With Orange and Pink, it definitely works, and you can feel the chemistry when you have that whole entire setup of them looking outside the jewelry shop and them talking to each other. So it actually establishes friendship between the two of them.
And I'm glad you. I was waiting. You just used the word friendship. Um, the way Reservoir Dog establishes friendship, to me was unique because the entire plot is you don't want to know too much about the people you are with because
Right.
then that messes up everything. And yeah, you're breaking out insight that I'm just coming to grips with right now. If that relationship wasn't established, you would have known he was a cop. Like, but because you became his friend and you cared about him more than just the job, it blinded you to the fact that he was patient. Like while dying, he knew somebody's coming to get me. And
Right.
and if seeing him shot, so what should have happened is the moment he got shot and started bleeding out, he should have been pushed out the car. Hey, he's
Right.
dying. We got to push him out. We got to get rid of this guy. We got to go to the spot. We got to wait for the others. We got to do what we got to do. The fact that they had a connection, which they shouldn't have had a connection, which they shouldn't have had a bond.
Because nobody knows each other. Everybody knows
Nobody.
each other all except this guy, and this is it. This is like if the movie Heat, where
Yeah.
they actually had this one guy who was a loose cannon who happens to be a serial killer. That
Yes.
would be like having him bleeding out in the back of the car. It's like,
Yes.
it's okay, dude. It's all right. We're gonna go in here. We're gonna go to this hideout, and we're gonna patch you up. No, you're gonna
No.
toss his ass out of the car,
That's
and
it.
I'm sorry, deuces, bye. Your cut is now gone.
But Quentin did a great. Again, you just
Yeah,
said it's the friendship. Quentin did a great job of establishing a relationship where there wasn't supposed to be a relationship, and
right,
that one relationship turned the entire movie because it was, how do you know he ain't a cop? How do you know this wasn't a setup? I know this guy, but wait, you're not supposed to know this guy. You're not supposed to know anything or have any emotional connection to this guy.
right.
Um,
You're supposed to be only doing a job. You're shutting your walls down for this guy that you barely even know. You probably knew him for about 4 or 5 hours before this even happened.
Maybe. Yep. In
And
one
then,
conversation.
right, in that one conversation, you think of him as your son or you think of him as your friend. No one's in this world, there's nobody that's a friend. You're there to do a job,
That's
get
it.
in, get out, and that's it.
Which also showed the care and concern he had for maybe more than him, because he didn't want him to die. Like, that's why you're gonna make it. You're gonna be all right. Shut up. Like, what are you talking about? You're gonna make it. He cared. And you can't care. You
No,
can't.
you can't. And also too, I like how it makes us as the audience that cares about this guy Orange, even though this is our first introduction to him, and also too, this is also their first introduction as well. So we're feeding off the energy
Of
of
everybody else, right?
right. So
So
we're
we didn't want
hoping
Orange to die.
exactly. So we're hoping for the best outcome for this guy, and we're hoping that he actually keeps his mouth shut and say, "Hey, look, you're not gonna die. We're gonna go ahead and bring you back to the hideout where we're supposed to be at." So that's what we're hoping for is the best outcome. So I definitely like how we're feeding off the vibe of these characters and hoping that Mr. Orange makes it.
Yes.
So and then we also have the fact that Blonde murdered several civilians during the heist. White is furious that Joe, his old friend, would employ Blonde, whom he described as a psychopath. Pink has hidden the diamonds nearby. He argues with White over whether to get medical attention for Orange, and the pair draw guns at each other. They stand down when Blonde arrives with the kidnapped policeman, Marvin Nash. So let's talk about this. I like how now you have that. It seems like this scene just changes as soon as you have that one character that comes in to this building.
You talking about
It's like
the hostage?
yeah, once he brings in the hostage, once we see, because remember, we don't see the hostage right away,
Nope.
right? All we do is get that glimpse of them looking into a trunk, and it's like us as like looking at us as the audience is like we're in the trunk with this guy,
Yep.
and we're wondering what are they doing? Why are they looking at us? But also too, when you see that one character come in and looking at them, squaring off at each other, that whole entire tension just gets even more
Thick.
intensified.
Yes. Because you don't again, camera angles, stillness, you don't know what's going to happen, you don't know who to trust, you know the guy bleeding out, something's off about him because he's wanting them to end themselves, but he don't want them to end it because he wants everybody to rest. You just know something's off about the guy dying. Um, and then you don't know where it's really gonna go because up until this point, we can assume these guys are bad guys, but we don't know that they're bad guys. They could just be petty thieves. They could be dumb. They could be ignorant. But now we're in a situation where I forgot the word. I forgot the word. It's called something standoff. I forgot the
I
word. It's like
forgot.
it's what cowboys do. It's a
Oh,
something.
I know what you're talking about. It's like a shootout, not a shootout,
Yeah,
but a
but
standoff with
it's
against
a shootout, but it's a word for it. But
draw,
now,
like a draw,
now
like a gun
it,
draw.
it's not. But it's not that. But the audience, people watching are gonna know what we're talking about. But once that gets introduced, now you know it's eye for an eye. That's the first time you see criminals. You see there is no honor amongst thieves. It's you or it's me, and what's going to happen. So I love the intensity of that scene. I love the like you said, I love the tension in the room. Uh, but I was definitely, and this is a couple months ago or a month ago, 2 months ago, whenever I called you and told you I wanted to watch this movie, I just needed them to get to the point like what's gonna happen to the hostage they bring in. Like, how is he gonna be used as a tool? Because the cop didn't want him to die.
Right.
Like, bleeding out, he can't die. And that was probably the first time I seen it, which was 15, 20 years ago. I don't know if you remember, there was a movie with what is his name? He passed away in a car crash, Fast and the Furious.
Oh, Paul Walker.
Okay, there's a movie with Paul Walker in it where they laid the guy down on the ice and they slap the hockey puck. You know what movie I'm talking about?
I can't think of it
Paul
offhand.
Walker, he plays a road cop. They lay a guy face down in a hockey arena, and in the previews, you just see his face on the ground and a hockey puck going towards his face, and the camera cuts.
It's called
When you
Running
watch
Scared.
Running Scared, and the hockey puck hit him right in the face, and it's just one of those like they are not gonna film this, they are not gonna show this, and bah, you see it. That's what it was in Reservoir Dog when he started torturing him.
Yeah, whenever Mr. White goes on ahead and starts torturing the cop.
Yes, you as you're watching the movie, you're like, there's no way they're gonna show, they're not gonna insinuate. There's no, oh my gosh, they did it, they did it.
And when they do, though, like, you don't expect this. Okay, so he's over there dancing to the music and reviving with him. It's kind of like the best thing I can think of is American Psycho,
Yes,
where you have
yeah,
Patrick
perfect example.
Bateman over there dancing and getting ready to kill his
Yep.
friend. And just as
Yes.
this is also the same thing, he's over there dancing, and the next thing you know, we're laughing, we're cutting up, and then we're forgetting the fact that these guys are violent and unhinged.
Yes.
We kind of, and we also humanize these people because we're related to, because we're, like I said, relatability, right? So we're humanizing these guys, and then once we realize, oh, these guys are violent, these guys are not good people, and then you see him go over there, he cuts off the guy's ear, then he wants to throw gasoline on the guy, on
I can
Ash.
smell it. But this shows how easily the audience can be manipulated, because if you really think about it, from the time of not wanting to tip an honest worker, from the time of using racial epithets, from the time of flashing to the car where they got shot, where you know they were in a shootout, we still humanize these characters that didn't deserve our sympathy. Even the guy, even Mr. Orange bleeding out. Um, he does. We don't. We didn't know he was a cop at the beginning of the movie.
No, we didn't. We
So
just
but him bleeding out, we still was like, oh, we don't want him to die. But he was on his way to rob something, to take something that wasn't his.
right.
And we stopped caring for these guys. It took for this guy to get things cut off his body and doused with gasoline for us to say, you know what? Maybe they not human.
Right.
Maybe they
Because it
ain't
kind
good
of
guys.
reminds you of The Sopranos, where everybody was glorifying The Sopranos. Then once you get into that third season with the stripper and
And you
Richie,
start
Richie,
realizing these are evil people.
yeah, Ralph. Well, don't. Here's the thing: what the director David Chase had to say about that was, okay, I have to make these people hate these people. We have to make the fans hate these gang members and everything. So let's go ahead. Let's see what we can do. So they go on ahead in the third season. They make Ralphie do a despicable thing to the stripper, and that's how you get people to basically hate the gangsters that hate the Sopranos in a sense.
which
The
which is
characters
which
from the
is very
Sopranos.
difficult to do once fans fall in love with a character. Kind of like the Penguin. Um, we were cheering for Oz most of the season
Right.
for the Penguin, and then you start to realize, like when he was going to let his mom get mangled and cut up, you start to realize, like, wait, maybe he ain't a good person. Maybe he's just
There's no good underneath him.
no. There's none, and that's what happened in the Reservoir Dogs, where maybe they are good people, but then when he started torturing the guy, you're like, okay, this is a little much. This ain't pistol whipping. This ain't slapping him. This is, homie, you got some issues that we don't know about. You need to go hug a SpongeBob bear or something.
I
Something's
agree
going
because
on.
Mr. Blonde, don't forget, Mr. Blonde just got out of jail. He's looking to
Yes,
go legit,
yes.
but he's well, not looking to get legit. He wants work, but he can't get work because he's out on PO right now.
And he
So
didn't he didn't want to be pulled back into the world, but he needed
you
to
need
survive.
money, right?
Yes.
So they go on ahead, they get the son to come in to that office and say, "Hey, look, what we can do is we can freeze the whole entire paperwork. Someone will clock you in and out at work. We can go ahead and give you a 9 to 5 job, and you can still work with for us. And we also have an alibi for you too, just in case a PO officer decides that they want to go ahead and pop in a drug screening. Because you're on the road, you're delivering stuff for us. You're good, so you can work for us." So I like that setup of like him. We're establishing the fact that Mr. White is needing Mr. White, but you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, Mr. White is actually needing the money because he just got out of jail. So we're establishing the need to want to do this job versus everybody else where they might be struggling, but we don't know their need or their
We don't
hunger
know
to
their
do what they
motivation.
want. Right, exactly.
Yeah, no. We don't know their
But
motivation. And how long was the film? An hour 20?
it clocks in about probably an hour and 40 something minutes, I think.
Just to be able to
But
establish, the care and the need for somebody to survive to the audience in such a short amount of time with 4 or 5 characters, it's simply amazing. Like
yeah, it was an hour
Quentin
and 39 minutes.
Quentin's a phenomenal, and that's probably credits included and things like that. So it's probably like 132, but that's just phenomenal writing. It's phenomenal. Outside of his need to say the N word in everything he writes, Quentin is like perfect.
I agree. And then you also have to think of it like this, though, too. Even whenever we have that other thing that happens and where it goes within the present, White and Pink beat Nash for the information. Eddie arrives and orders them to retrieve the diamonds and ditch the getaway vehicles, leaving Blonde in charge of Nash and Orange. Nash denies knowledge, but Blonde ignores him and resumes the torture, cutting off Nash's ear that we talked about. A straight razor. He prepares to set him on fire, but Orange shoots him in the head. Orange reveals to Nash that he is
I'm a
an
cop.
undercover officer and that the
I'm a
police will
cop.
arrive soon.
I'm the best
Yeah.
acting ever, ever, ever.
He's just laying on that floor, right? Bleeding out, and he just shoots him.
Best acting ever in history. And still, when he admitted he was a cop, I wanted him to die. This
Me
shows
too.
something like messed up with me in society. Like the moment because a lot of people died because of him.
Yeah, a lot of here's the thing: Quentin Tarantino's character dies. You have every character on here that dies because of him tipping off the to the cops that there's going to be a robbery in place. Had he not done that and just let them get away with them, here's what I think that should have happened. If he didn't do this,
Rewrite the
don't tip
movie. Come
them.
on. Come on, Joe.
Don't tip them off. Don't tip the cops off. Let them think that they got away with something when they didn't. As soon as they start making the trade off with the diamonds and the money and stuff, that's when you go ahead and call the cops. You don't do it 20 minutes after a robbery or 10 minutes after the robbery, you know? But no, Orange gets ahead of himself and decides he's going to go ahead and tip them off. And you want him to be dead because he's a rat. And so we
Yeah.
feel like that we're actually part of that killing him.
Okay, I'm
All right.
back. You hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you. Go ahead. Now
Okay.
I made
So I
fun
want
of
to go
you.
back.
You
I'm going
said
to
you
go
was
back to my.
rewriting. Yeah, you was rewriting Quentin's movie. Go ahead.
Okay. So how much did you hear though? Because I actually said he shouldn't have tipped him off and all that.
No, you say you start. You start where he shouldn't have tipped him off, and that's what you cut out.
Okay. So I think that he shouldn't have tipped him off. And I'll tell you why. Number one, you don't do a deal with anybody and try to do a tip off. You let them think that they got away with something, even though they didn't get away with something.
I mean, yeah.
So, once the trade off starts happening with the money and the diamonds, then make your move. Yeah, you stole the diamonds, but guess what? You still have to get to the destination to switch out the vehicles.
Here's the thing, though. The reason you have to do that is because I'm going back 20 minutes. There shouldn't be any honor amongst thieves. You're working with criminals and bad guys. So once the deal is done, who's to say that Mr. Blonde wasn't going to off everybody?
Right.
Like everybody's gone. Like I got my money. It's kind of like that scene in The Dark Knight Rises with the Joker. How everybody once this is job is done, you kill such and such. Once this job is done, you shoot such and
Yep.
such.
He told
So
me to take out this guy. He told me
yeah,
to. Oh, really? Well, he told me to take
we
you
take
out.
out
Yeah.
boom. So you have to alert whomever you're gonna alert just in case something go wrong. And in this case, something went horribly wrong.
Right. So I gotta understand that perspective too. Like,
Okay.
but I just think that for me, I think if you're gonna try and be undercover and you already gained the trust of these guys in these suits, you don't need to go on ahead and tip off anybody yet. You need to let them think that they got away with something and then make your move. Not do it, but that's just me. But here's the thing: I think this guy. I think the reason why we want this guy to be dead is because of the fact we also feel like we're part of that black and white suits
Yes.
mafia
And
team.
in this movie, if anything, you may not agree. This movie kind of points out that we all got some bad in us. We all got some criminals, some bad guy. Like we want the villain to win. As good as we think we are, you wake up, you take care of your family, your kids, your wife. You go to work, you go to school, you cut the grass. Whatever you do in your life, you want to be a good person. But deep down inside, a movie like this, if you want the bad guy to win, if you want the cop to die, if you feel bad that certain characters got shot in the head, deep down inside, subconsciously, you may not be as good of a person as you think you are. And it's those subconscious thoughts and those subconscious feelings that kind of let you know, like, hey, maybe something's going on up here. Maybe I need to go to therapy. Maybe I need to get a pet cat so I can be a better person. I don't know. But like ah, I don't know.
But another thing too is we also have where when Eddie and Pink and White return, Orange tries to convince them that Blonde planned to kill them and steal the diamonds for himself. Eddie impulsively kills Nash and accuses Orange of lying. Since Blonde was loyal to his father, Joe arrives with news that the police have killed Blue. He is about to execute Orange, whom the suspect is the traitor behind the setup, but White interferes and holds Joe at gunpoint, insulting that Orange is not an undercover cop. Eddie aims at White, creating a Mexican standoff.
Mexican standoff. That's what it's called.
Both Cabots are killed, and White and Orange are hit. So here's the thing: I like how now you have the son coming back in there into this picture. Everything's coming full circle at this moment. The
Mm-hmm.
father comes in there, everybody's there, and he's like, "I'm telling you, Orange is a cop." And I just love how he says, "No, he's not. He's not a cop. There's no way he could be a cop." And they're like, "He is a cop. I am
Why
telling you."
why couldn't he believe Orange was a cop?
Because number one, he let his walls down during that time of them staking out the robbery. They became
That right
friends.
there.
That closeness was what was the ultimate thing that's what cops do when they're undercover. They try to build a relationship with somebody. And that's exactly what happened with this character. So so now he's gonna die. So therefore, everything was because of the fact that he was blindsided by the fact that he thinks that Orange is his friend. And then you also have the other thing too, where it's like, oh, and Orange is like bleeding out on the floor because he was going to kill the cop. I'm like, you just gave yourself away because you're a police officer yourself, and you don't like the fact that these guys were going to kill another police officer,
And
and you gave yourself away. Just as whenever he was getting close to the other character we mentioned and getting close with him, that's also the same thing. At the end of the day, that's what killed him.
see, and that's what you call phenomenal writing.
Mhm.
There was no wasted dialogue in the Reservoir Dogs, and it's one of the few films where there was no filler scenes, no filler dialogue, no filler moments. Everything had a purpose. If you blink too fast, you miss something important. Again, we keep coming back to the conversation they had in the car when it was sticking out and it was bonding. If you're not attentive to that scene, then him being hesitant to kill Mr. Orange at the end wouldn't make sense to you. But it was established. Do not learn anything about each other. You're just here to do a job. And because that one bond was broken, or that one rule was broken, we ended up in a Mexican standoff. You ended up your son dying. You ended up your son torturing and cutting off the ear of a cop, which he was gonna go to prison forever for that anyway. So dying was probably his best bet.
Right. I definitely see that though, because he already winded up assaulting a cop. He killed the cop, and that was it. It's game over. You might as well just sign yourself up to the electric chair and just let him
He was
toast you.
done. Done. Beetlejuice.
And I also like how everybody shot each other at this point. Everybody's laying on the floor. Pink, on the other hand, was the smartest one to go underneath the staircase of this place and then come out and then carry the diamonds and
The
walks
diamonds
away.
away.
Yeah.
And if you look at the group, he was the most aloof one. He seemed to
Yep.
be Pink was the most aloof.
Because he was the most, because of the fact too, he didn't throw any walls down. We knew who he was. Like you said, black and white. He's like, this is who I am. And at the end of the day, he was actually the smart one out of this whole entire gang of criminals.
In the most racist one.
Yeah, the most racist one. But there's actually a fan theory. I don't know if you know about this, but Mr. Pink is also an undercover cop. He just covers his bases better than Mr. Orange. But I'm not buying into that. But of the four colors who get significant screen time, Mr. Pink is the only one whose name we don't find out. He sticks very, very hard to need for professional anonymity. Harder, and then also too harder than anyone else on the crew. He doesn't do it because Joe Gavitt told him to do it. He's doing it because it provides a great screen of plausibility, deniability for an undercover cop. It goes so far as to refuse to let White say his own real name, because then it would familiarize the relationship to a point where Pink would be expected to let his real identity slip.
I didn't even think of that theory.
But
That's a
yeah,
very good theory.
there's also theory number two. Speaking of professionalism, he goes on about
That's
it.
a very good theory.
Yeah, this is actually some of the things I found out, so I just thought it would be interesting for
I
us to
didn't even
talk
think
about it.
about that.
Me
And
either.
and and him saying the N word and boy, makes it made him seem outlandish. I don't want to be your friend. Leave me alone.
Right. I just want to do this job and shut the hell up, and I'm gonna move on with my day. I'm gonna get paid, and that's the end of it. You know. But yeah, I just think that this movie is just great and entertaining
No,
all
no,
around.
it was extremely entertaining. It was extremely vulgar. It definitely had some tighten your stomach, cover your eyes moments where you had to watch through your fingers. That's the cop torture scene. I know I keep saying it, but the dialogue in the scene was just second to none. It was unmatched. People don't write and create projects like that anymore, and if they do, they're independent films, and they're not getting the airtime that they properly deserve. Um, I do not think, regardless of what anybody says, the racial undertones added to the film. It definitely didn't take away at all, but it didn't
No,
add to the film. And Quentin, he definitely directs his racial dialogue towards black people. So so I don't know if he lost his girlfriend to a black dude in high school. I don't know what the hell happened. But he's getting
because
that.
even with Pink, he also mentions that too, where they're talking about being with a black woman and all that
Yes,
stuff too in the car. So he
yes.
also,
Like somewhere along the line, somebody blacker than Wesley Snipes took Quentin Tarantino's girlfriend and he said, I'm gonna get you back by being rich and a phenomenal writer and a great director, and I'm gonna let you know how I feel, you beggar in every single movie. Somebody
I
get
can
these
see that.
beggars out of here.
But yeah, does so my other question is this: so does this movie still hold up?
Yes, 100%. If this movie came out today, because of it, what we're seeing with weapons, what we're seeing with obsession, what we're seeing with back rooms, less is more.
Hmm.
And this movie was definitely less and gave so much more than we could have ever asked for. So I definitely think a film like this coming out in today's society and today's landscape would do extremely well.
I think so too, because here's the thing: people want originality now. They want authenticity. They don't want
Yeah.
sequels, reboots, or anything like that. And we're seeing that with, like you said, with Obsession. We're seeing that with Weapons. We're seeing that with all these movies. And I think this movie would be one of those movies that people would clamor to because of the fact of relatability with the characters. Not only the relatability with the characters, but also to the whole entire deal of what's the mystery element of it. Why is this person bleeding out in the back seat? Why is he a cop? Is he not a cop?
And
Who's
not giving
good?
it to us
Who's bad?
immediately. Yeah, yeah, not letting us, making us wait to 70% into the movie to figure some things out. I do miss that. You brought up authenticity and originality. Is obsession really is obsession really a original thought, or was it just, or did it go where no movies have went? Like,
I I feel like it's okay. Big, the movie Big with Tom Hanks meets horror. Kid makes a wish. Wish comes true. Tom Hanks is big. Kid breaks bar to make a wish to get a girl to fall in love with him. She becomes obsessed with him. It's it's more of a darker tone movie, but it's
yeah,
nothing
but
that.
but nah, but see, with obsession, it was forced. It was forced, and
Mhm. Yeah,
I just think Obsession was such a hit because it went to where we didn't think it would go. Again, it's that puck scene in Running Scared with Paul Walker, bless his soul. It's, are they really going to show this? It's when he walks to go away to work and she just stands there and smile. Usually in a horror movie, she'll stand there, smile, the camera will zoom in and it'll go. In
right.
Obsession, the camera stand there, stared at her, panned down, and now she was urinating on herself. That's something we didn't expect
True.
to see. Um, so I don't know if it was I don't know if obsession was an original thought. I just think people are entranced at, are they going to show the thing that we think they are going to show? Wait, they showed it. We got to stick around to see if they're going to really go this far. With Reservoir Dogs, I think it was the exact same thing. So that's why I think the movie is so timeless. And there's a difference between a timeless cult classic, something like, and I know this is completely off, but something like Three Ninjas. Three Ninjas, the first movie, was a horrible movie. It
Yeah,
was terrible. For black people, and I'm saying that very confidently, Meteor Man, cult classic in black homes. Horrible, horrible movie. Um, Reservoir Dogs wasn't a horrible movie. It was a phenomenal movie, and it's a cult classic, and it's timeless, so definitely holds up.
I agree. I think this movie still holds up. I think there's a lot of shock factors with this because you're not expecting them to actually show the cop's ear getting taken off. You're not
Nope,
expecting to see the bullets going into the cop's chest. You're not expecting.
not in 1992, you're
No.
not, for
And I
sure.
just want to point this out though too because I actually had this in my notes and I wanted to talk to you about this. It's just the calmness of that character whenever he's dancing around him.
It's sick,
It's
right?
just that cool ear thing of like this eeriness of something that's gonna happen. You know
But
what
you
I
don't
mean?
but you don't think it's going to happen.
No,
And
that's
when
the
it
whole
decides to happen, you're almost offended, like, why would you make me watch this? Why would you do that? Wait, there's more. I need more. This gotta happen again. And that's that need for us as an audience to be villainous, to bring that up out of us. And only certain movies can do it. And this was one of the movies where you wanted one of the bad guys to win.
right because you
Unfortunately,
want them to be able to get the diamonds. You want them to be able to get away with something.
it's
This is what that
satisfying.
movie's trying to set up. It's establishing getting away with something, or are they not going to get away with something?
And they got away with it. Like when he came from under the stairs, grabbed them times and walked away. Somebody got away with it. But I love the theory that he might be a super undercover cop. I love that theory though.
I do too. I like playing around with that idea as well.
Nah, I love
So
that.
now that we stripped away the nostalgia of it, now that we talked about this scene by scene, what would you give it?
On a scale, on what scale?
Out of 10, please.
10. 10 easily. You said
Okay.
9.9. The attire, the dialogue, the cinematography, the um the sequences, that one scene when the guy got his ear chopped off. Oh, give me goosebumps now. It was phenomenal. Without Reservoir Dogs, and I never read his biography. I never read his influences, but Wes Anderson. I felt
Mhm.
like felt like Wes Anderson could have directed a Reservoir Dogs from the way it was shot, the color grading, and things like that. So I think that film definitely spawned a lot of directors.
Okay. And for me, I'm going to give this a 10. I know I went 9.9, but for me,
You
adult
forgiven?
me, you see, that's what I'm talking about. Like adulthood changes your perspective
You
of
forgiven,
this.
King? You
Thank you.
forgiven.
I appreciate that.
You
Thank you.
forgiven.
And the reason why I'm giving this a 10 out of 10 is because, like you said, that element of, are they going to push the envelope? Is this going to move the needle the way that we hope that they move the needle for?
And it did. It did.
Yes.
It
And
did.
give us something to talk about after we see this movie. It's like,
30.
hey, did you see that scene where the cop gets shot and his ear gets taken off? Oh my gosh, that was just totally horrifying. I was not expecting it. That is something that I feel like is missing today. This the shock factor of something happening and not having the payoff. And we mentioned Obsession. In Obsession, we get the payoff of something happening to this girl who's becoming this overly obsessive person with because this person made the wish, being forcefully being able to be obsessed with somebody. And this is also that same type of shock factor of, I need to get the diamonds. I need to go ahead and I'm out on parole. I have a need to want something. And everything works perfectly well executed. I loved it. I like this movie a lot. I enjoyed Pulp Fiction. Well, I'm actually becoming more of a Tarantino fan as I'm going through this. And also, too, remember this one scene where they mentioned Alabama?
You gotta refresh me.
Okay, whenever we see Mr. Black, he's talking about Alabama to another character
No.
in the office. Okay, Alabama is a character from another was written by Quentin Tarantino, and he sold that to make Reservoir Dogs. So what he did was where that movie is and everything is one of my other favorite movies, even though it's not a Tarantino film, is True Romance. That's actually the character Alabama. It's actually the female character that was in True Romance.
And he made a reference. Oh, okay. So and that's
So he
how he
made a
makes sure.
reference.
And that's how he shares the universe.
Yeah.
Makes sense. That's dope writing.
Yeah, I like that. It's like, okay, well, I couldn't direct this myself, so I had to sell the script in order to make this movie, but I'm still going to incorporate this character in some way.
That's dope writing. Like
Yeah,
as much as I want to hate on that man's a genius, man.
yeah. I like. If you haven't seen True Romance, I definitely recommend that you check it out. It's one of my favorites.
I always confuse True Romance with True Lies. Always. Always.
Well,
Don't ask me why.
okay, but this one
Always.
is. I mean, Christian Slater's in this movie. He has like a split personality thing. He falls in love with a prostitute named Alabama.
I want to watch it. That's all I needed to know. Normal man
So,
fall in love with a hooker. I love it. Pretty Woman is one of my favorite movies.
and this is to say he tries to get her out of prostitution. So there
Nah,
you go.
nah. Let that woman be free. Let that woman make some money.
He,
Let her
he
be free, homie. I support it.
You have James Gandolfini in this movie. You have Brad Pitt in this movie. You have Balky from Perfect Strangers in this movie.
Balky's the fact that you called him Balky is crazy.
That's
The
all I
fact
know.
that
That's my nostalgia, dude. That's my nostalgia. I just call him.
the,
I call him Balky.
the fact that you call him Balky, that's crazy.
But yeah, one of my favorite movies. Check it out. All right, guys. So that's going to be it as far as this review goes. Josh, thank you so much for joining me for this. I enjoyed this as always, my
Always.
friend.
Always.
And you're going to have to come back when we do our best and worst movies of 2026 because I do want us to talk about that.
We got to stop waiting 2 months, man.
Yeah, we need more. I need more of you to come
Yeah.
in here.
Yeah.
Let's think of some more ideas we can probably do.
Yeah, we gotta stop waiting 2 months. Nah, it's not a problem. Thank you for having me. It's always a blast. It's always fun to hear you break down films in ways that I can't think about. Cause me being goofy and loud and trying to be funny all the time is always dope when I can show people that I got some cinematic taste and quality. We definitely got to talk about, and your wife may be more into this one. Colleen Hoover wrote a book called Verity, and Verity's coming out, and it has Anne Hathaway, Josh
I
Hartnett,
saw that.
Dakota
I saw the
Johnson in
trailer.
it. So we definitely got to review Verity, and if we review Verity, your podcast following will go through the roof because Verity's gonna make $500 million.
Okay. I want to check that out, to be honest with you. I seen the poster for it, then I watched the trailer, so I'm actually intrigued with it. So
Yeah.
so I'm definitely
Yes.
gonna check it out.
Yes, my actually if you guys are watching this, my Verity rant is probably at 1 million views now on Instagram. So Verity is definitely a movie that as men we got to be more involved in.
I agree.
Of course, I got you. Anytime, let me know. I can't wait to come back. I always enjoy movie reviews with you. So
Same here,
please tell
man. I
Roxy I
enjoy it.
said what's up.
I sure will. I sure will. All right, guys. Well, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe button, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye, guys.